So it's very crowded. 6 feet apart. You'd be lucky if you got 6 inches. As everyone watching this video definitely knows, Donald Trump has coronavirus. So today, October 2nd, we learned that he is getting airlifted to a hospital. He went from having mild symptoms to going to a hospital rather quickly. So we are not 100% sure what's happening right now. We don't know if it's really severe or if it's not, but he has been trying to make a lot of schools go back in person. So my school is going back in person sometime around mid-October. So I'm wondering if him being sick with it might change some things. Like, we don't know what's happening yet, but we are probably going back. So I'm going to talk about some of the risks that we're going to be facing in in-person school, and then why online is probably the superior option. I have another video about this, online versus in-person school, like why we should stay online. But I'm just going to talk about some of the risks that we know now. So for information we got from our school, we have two cohorts. So two groups of students that go on separate days. So Monday, Tuesday, cohort, last name A through K, go on Monday, and then cohort K through Z go on Thursday, Friday. So these are the groups that go on each day. Wednesday's deep cleaning, and then you switch online for the other people. So my last name falls in cohort 2. So I'll be online Monday and Tuesday and in person Thursday, Friday. And then Wednesday, no school. So that's good that we don't have school Wednesday. We're online 2 out of the 4 days that we're actually learning. Now let's talk about what's happening when we're actually in school. So it's going to be around 800 students in a building at a time with this cohort group, since it's about 1,600 without it. So with this amount of students and faculty definitely raises some issues. Now the building's a reasonable size and it definitely can be spread out, but I'm more worried about crossing time going from your class to class. We do have 3 hours a day, so that means you're going to be switching between 3 classes, and 750 students or 800 people in total moving around the hallway at once poses many issues. That's probably around 20 people in this part of a hallway. That's what it usually is. So it's very crowded. 6 feet apart. You'd be lucky if you got 6 inches. So there's definitely some risk with the density in crossing time. Okay, next I would like to talk about the risk of people with pre-existing conditions. So a lot of people actually have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, and this poses another issue. Diabetes, asthma, hypertension, all these raise your chance of being severely ill from COVID. So these people are not necessarily accommodated, and you can choose the online option, but the online option doesn't have every class available. So a lot of people don't want to pick this option, and it is very different from what we're doing right now. So I don't think it really accommodates to the people. The next thing I would definitely like to talk about is spacing in classrooms. If you think you can get 6 feet away for 35 students in a 400 square foot room, you're insane. It just doesn't work mathematically. It will never work. And usually they're grouped in all in one group. So this is very concerning, especially because you're definitely gonna have people at most 2 to 3 feet away. And I've heard reports newly from the CDC that it can go over 6 feet through the air. That's not gonna work. So even though it is the cohorts, so you have about 20 people in the room at once, it's still concerning. It's a lot of people. So in-person spacing doesn't really work. And the last thing I would probably say that I'm worried about would be the stress and sleep of students. So what I have mentioned before, but high school students also have a lack of sleep, a big lack of sleep. Most high school students sleep around 5 to 7 hours a night. This is not good. Infections from viruses can be much more likely with low amounts of sleep. Your immune system correlates with your sleep schedule a lot. You need to sleep around 7 to 9 hours. So this lack of sleep is not good for your immune system. Most students wake up around 5:30 for school. Now, I don't, But these people that do have school at whatever 7 or 7:30, they're waking up at 5:30 and they go to bed at 12. 5.5 hours, not enough sleep, not at all. So that's really bad for your immune system. Another risk factor would be stress. Now, stress might not directly relate to your physical health. Well, it does in some ways. Like, it can increase your heart rate, cause some blood pressure issues. Stress is not good for your mental health, and mental health is very important also. There's been a lot of mental health issues, especially in high schools, and adding coronavirus fears into your everyday life will probably increase your mental health anxiety a lot, maybe tenfold. So I would say overall, staying online is the superior option. Now, I do get that some people need the in-person connections, but we're high school students. We're not in that need for interpersonal communication. Now, this is very different from elementary schoolers, pre-K. Now, they do need hands-on education, and I definitely get that. It's a double-edged sword, though. Those kids aren't as disciplined and might not wear a mask, definitely don't wash their hands that much. So, there really is no good solution. Deaths and cases are still rising in the U.S. My state, Michigan, had a high of cases and deaths about a week ago. So it's not over yet. And Michigan has potential of becoming another state on the pandemic list. We were around 3 and 5 for a while. Now we're around 10, but we could easily slide back up to 5. So I'm concerned about it. There's been an outbreak in the Upper Peninsula. Luckily, that's far away from me. But coronavirus is not gone, and staying online is the better option. There you go. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Bye, schoolers.